Instantly, everything around you was disrupted by an unknown force. Imagine being surrounded by men, women, and children in panic. Where are you? Is it the supermarket, getting groceries, in a parking lot heading home from work, leaving class, a mall, on a road, the doctor's office? Let's be clear, it doesn't matter where you are. What matters is how you respond to uncertainty, chaos, and fear before all hell breaks loose. Equally important is how you respond when life as you know it is far from what you present reality is. Let's examine this very scenario through the lens of the post-apocalyptic thriller, I Am Legend. The film follows the main character, Dr. Robert Neville, from the onset of a genetically modified disease that has mutated and decimated the population within 3 years. It has turned his host into bloodthirsty beings unable to live in daylight. This forces Robert Neville's character to be in a tailspin of survival, along with his obsession of finding a cure for this virus. Dr. Robert Neville is a virologist with military training and stationed in Ground Zero NYC. Anna, a resilient survivor, finds Neville accompanied by a little boy under her care. She was the first human contact after Neville's tragic loss of his canine. Their interaction takes place as he's on the brink of a mental crisis. But to highlight more on this post-apocalyptic setting, as mentioned before, Ground Zero is New York City. Imagine New York City, but if it was abandoned, if there was vegetation on every street, animals just roaming around as if there's no boundaries. That's what it was like in the movie. Not to mention Neville's brownstone house, which was completely fortified. The zombies, or also known as Darkseekers, were hairless and very strong. They displayed hive-like intelligence similar to animals like bees. We also see in Neville's house, he has also an underground bunker where he performs experiments on these infected beings. Fail after fail, we see Neville's desperation for finding a cure, and this leads to him capturing these beings in hopes for creating a vaccine. We also see in the movie that Neville's character is talking to mannequins in a video store, which also shows his need for human connection. But now that we've got all the previous things out the way, let's get to the real meat of the matter. And to start, we need to realize that we are on the edge of something big. Things like what I've talked about is what we are bombarded with on the big screen, and even in video games like The Last of Us. Content like this is wrapped up in entertainment and heart-stopping content, which therefore generates compliments of Hollywood and their ideas. But what if there's more to it?
It's worth noting that Dr. Neville was disciplined, focused, and void of meaningful connection outside of his loyal German Shepherd, Sam. Not only that, he was also a man of shadows. His very presence throughout the film echoes the shadow of humanity. Empty streets, houses, desolation at every turn. He was also haunted by the remnants of his former life, with his wife and daughter Marley, who were both killed in a helicopter crash at the height of the virus. Not to mention the scene where he tells his wife, quote unquote, "I can still fix this."
Reverse the spread. I can still fix this.
Please. You can do the same work outside the city.
This hints at his mindset of duty coupled with desperation. Now on the surface, him saying this would make him look crazy, but at the end of the day, this drive served him well. I mean, look, he survived a long time in this environment. He kept himself in shape, had his K9 scouting for supplies, his visits to the port sending out signals to survivors. All of this was admirable, but I'll ask you this. How would you have handled not receiving any signs of life for over 3 years? Would you have continued to broadcast a signal like Dr. Neville? And if we're being completely honest with ourselves, we probably wouldn't know what to do. Some may say I'm taking it deeper than what it is. And granted, it is a movie, but does that mean we don't question ourselves and try to find that answer? Neville's character displays a relentless pursuit of a cure as he captures the zombies one by one. Each time he's visibly shaken, yet he continues to labor despite the heavy emotional weight of the world on his shoulders. Another pivotal scene involves Sam being bitten by an infected dog while protecting his master, Dr. Neville.
He takes Sam back to the house and cradles her in his arms. We clearly see that she's on the verge of turning into a hellish animal, and as we see, Dr. Neville strangles her to death. It is at this point that he begins to unravel mentally. For 3 years, Dr. Neville has proven to be resilient and prepared in every way. Shelter, weapons, food, vehicle, gas, and electricity, yet his state of mind was still compromised.
And as we see, Anna's character arrives just in time to rescue Neville. Their interactions back at his house speak to his mental state,
God's
his
plan.
lack of faith and anger.
All right, let me tell you about your God's plan. There were 6 billion people on Earth when the infection hit. KV had a 90% kill rate. That's 5.4 billion people dead, crashed and bled out dead. Less than 1% immunity. It left 12 million healthy people like you, me, and Ethan. The other 588 million turned into your dark seekers. And then they got hungry and they killed and fed on everybody. Everybody. Every single person that you or I has ever known is dead. Dead. There is no God. There is no God.
While Anna disagrees,
How do you know, Anna?
she believes that more than just coincidence.
I just know.
How? I said, how do you know? How could you know?
God told me. He has a plan.
God told you.
Yes.
The God.
Yes.
Now, where am I getting at? What is the conclusion to everything I've been saying? Well, let's say this. A person's true character will rise in the face of adversity. Neville's character in this movie was clear as day, a prepared man with a mission. He makes the best out of his situation and doesn't fold when the pressure is unbearable. It's important to consider that discipline was a lifestyle for him, given his military background. However, discipline is operating from a mindset of resilience and healthy emotional regulation as well. Despite circumstances that are far from ideal, you don't have to be Dr. Neville, but you can strive to acquire those character traits right now. Are you prepared for tough times? Are you resilient and resourceful? Are you capable of leading others if you had to? These are questions we should all ask ourselves. And if you guys haven't taken anything away from this video, then please take this. Don't only watch movies for entertainment purposes only. And by no means do I mean not to watch a movie just for the fun. Of course you want to watch a movie and enjoy yourself. But while you're watching, sometimes try to insert yourself in the movie. Examine yourself through it. What would you do that the person wouldn't do? And for example, movies like this show that you must have some sort of faith or a clear mind or measured action to survive whatever is in front of you. At the end of the day, be prepared. Surround yourself with like-minded people so that you can light up the darkness in this world.
He said, the people who are trying to make this world worse are not taking a day off. How can I light up the darkness?
Let me know what you guys thought about the video in the comment section below. This is my first official voiceover, I believe, on this channel. So if you guys could like the video and subscribe, that would be amazing. I am working on another project after this, and hopefully you guys will be there to enjoy that one.